The cry cut through the busy daytime street like a blade, sharp and unexpected, stopping a man who was used to making million-dollar decisions without hesitation. In the middle of honking cars, hurried footsteps, and winter sunlight reflecting off glass buildings, a small voice full of panic and innocence shattered the rhythm of the city. A single dad, powerful yet quietly broken, turned toward the sound, unaware that this moment would rewrite not only his life, but 3 others struggling to survive. Before the story pulls you deeper, pause for a second. If you believe kindness can change lives and that second chances still matter in this world, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to Whisper Tales 3. Your support keeps stories like this alive. Ethan Cross had built his empire from nothing. As the CEO of a global tech company, his days were filled with boardrooms, glass towers, and endless responsibility. But behind the tailored suits and calm authority was a man stitched together by grief. His wife had died 3 years earlier, leaving him to raise their daughter alone. Every morning he walked his 6-year-old daughter Nora to school before heading to work, those short walks becoming the most human moments of his day. Daylight softened the sharpness of the city during these walks, reminding him that life still moved forward, even when his heart lagged behind. That particular morning the sun was pale but present, the kind of daytime cold that numbs your fingers but still allows hope to exist. Ethan's mind was on an upcoming merger, but Nora's grip tightened around his hand as they passed a small park near the subway entrance. That was when she saw them. A young woman sat huddled against a stone wall, her coat far too thin for the season. In her arms was a baby wrapped in mismatched cloth, tiny fingers exposed, skin pale and trembling. The woman's face was drained, her eyes fixed on the ground as if she no longer trusted the world to look back kindly. Nora stopped walking. She stared with wide, frightened eyes, noticing things adults had trained themselves to ignore. The way the baby barely moved. The way the mother's shoulders shook, not from sobs but from exhaustion. Ethan followed his daughter's gaze and felt a familiar instinct to help clash with years of emotional self-preservation. He had donated money, funded shelters, signed checks without thinking. But standing this close made it real in a way spreadsheets never did. Nora tugged him harder, her voice rising with urgency as she pointed at the baby, insisting something was wrong. Ethan knelt beside her, trying to reassure her, but his words felt hollow even to himself. He looked again at the baby and saw what his daughter saw. The child wasn't crying, the child was conserving energy. That terrified him more than noise ever could. The homeless mother noticed them then. She pulled the baby closer, shame flashing across her face, the universal look of someone expecting judgment or rejection. Ethan felt something crack inside him. He remembered hospital hallways flooded with daylight when he lost his wife, remembered how helpless he felt holding Nora, afraid of failing her. This woman looked the same way now, standing at the edge of collapse, holding everything she had left. Ethan acted before his fear could stop him. He took off his own coat and gently draped it around the baby, layering it carefully. The mother resisted at first, pride warring with desperation, but Ethan's calm presence and Nora's worried eyes broke through her defenses. The baby stirred slightly, a small movement that felt like a miracle. Ethan checked his watch, realizing he was already late, but for the first time in years, time felt irrelevant. He guided them toward a nearby cafe, flooded with daylight and warmth. Inside, the smell of coffee and baked bread wrapped around them. Ethan ordered hot food, warm milk, and extra blankets without hesitation. The mother ate slowly, as if afraid the food might disappear if she moved too fast. Ethan learned her name was Maribel, a once aspiring nurse who had lost everything after an abusive relationship and a chain of bad luck. The baby, barely 3 months old, had been born into uncertainty and cold sidewalks instead of safety. As sunlight streamed through the cafe windows, something shifted. Nora sat quietly, watching the baby sleep more peacefully now, her small face serious and thoughtful. Ethan realized his daughter was learning something no school could teach her: compassion without conditions. Ethan didn't stop at breakfast. He made calls that didn't involve investors or profit margins. He contacted a private clinic, arranged medical care, and secured temporary housing before the day was even half over. His assistants were confused, but he didn't explain. Some things didn't need justification. Maribel cried when she realized this help was real, that it wasn't a trick or a momentary kindness that would vanish by sunset. Over the following weeks, Ethan stayed involved. Daytime visits replaced boardroom lunches. He helped Maribel enroll in programs, finish her nursing certification, and find stable childcare. He never treated her like a charity case, only like a human being who deserved dignity. Nora insisted on visiting too, bringing small toys and drawings, always checking if the baby was warm enough. The transformation wasn't instant or easy. Maribel struggled with fear, with trusting stability, with believing she deserved help. Ethan battled guilt for the countless mornings he had walked past people like her without stopping. But healing rarely arrives cleanly. It arrives messy, layered, and slow, much like life itself. Months later, under a bright daytime sky, Ethan attended Maribel's first day at her new job at a community clinic. She stood taller, dressed neatly, holding her baby with confidence instead of desperation. Nora squeezed Ethan's hand, proud in a way only children can be. Ethan realized then that success wasn't measured in stock prices or headlines, but in moments where you choose humanity over convenience. Just before this story ends, I want to ask you something special. Please take a moment to comment below one word that describes how this story made you feel. Your words matter more than you know. As the sun dipped but daylight still lingered, Ethan walked away that day lighter than he had in years. Not because he had saved someone, but because he had allowed himself and his daughter to be changed. One small voice noticing a freezing baby had cracked open a man's guarded heart and reminded him that kindness doesn't need permission, status, or perfect timing. If this story touched your heart, if it reminded you of the power of compassion and second chances, please like, comment, and share this video. Your engagement helps these stories reach others who need hope today. And don't forget to subscribe to Whisper Tales 3, where every story is a whisper reminding us that humanity still matters.